Hey guys, my name is Victoria Vogue and it is Tuesday on the Queen Chat, which means I'm your queen. Let's get started. Now this week it was my topic and I have suggested we talk about shade, specifically how we deal with it. Now in Australia we don't really have shade. We don't have reading people in those particular terms. We have drag queens who will read people and we have drag queens who are shady, of course, but we don't call it that. So it was not until I had seen Paris is Burning and subsequently watched RuPaul's Drag Race that I became familiar with these terms. For me, shade is conceptually just a nasty practice. I don't see the point of it. I understand that there can be playful banter between friends or between people who respect one another, but to actually read someone or be shady just for the hell of it, I honestly don't see the point. Don't get me wrong, I am all for a battle of the wits, and I'm all for being funny and being clever, but throwing shade is just... it seems really nasty to me. As I say, down in Australia we don't call it shade and we don't refer to it as reading. If someone is being shady, we will probably just say that they're being an asshole. Now obviously I have dealt with shade because I've been a drag queen for a while and it's inevitable that you're going to run into that kind of behaviour. When I do encounter shade, I tend to just try and ignore it because my opinion is that anyone who's going to be throwing shade just for the hell of it is an insecure person and doesn't deserve the time of day. Now I should probably actually relate some examples to you. I live in Wollongong, which is a small regional city in Australia. It's about an hour and a half by train south of Sydney, the largest city in the country and the capital of New South Wales. If those of you watching in the United States have heard of any city in Australia, it will be Sydney. After that, maybe Canberra, because that's our nation's capital, but people who live in Australia don't care about Canberra, so why would someone overseas care about it? Anyway, usually the shade I get will be from someone, a drag queen from Sydney, who will try and read me because I'm from a small town and I'm not in the big city with the big lights and the big clubs and the big stages. And this is where I've sort of formulated the opinion that shade is a really nasty thing. Who gives a shit where you're from, and who gives a shit where you perform? A drag queen is a drag queen. They're good or bad, but it has nothing to do with where they're from or where they buy their wigs. Seriously. I remember one night I was at the club and I was still sort of new to the scene, but I was getting good at what I was doing. I was doing my own makeup, I was styling wigs, I was doing outfits, I was getting pretty good at choreographing some dance moves. And a bunch of drag queens, 3 drag queens actually, from Sydney showed up. At the time I remember being sort of excited because I thought, well, here are some drag queens I've never seen before, I've never met these people, I'm going to go and be sociable. So I went up to them and at the time I didn't know who else was performing. So I said to one of them, "Hi, I'm Victoria, are you performing tonight? I'm performing tonight, what are you doing? I'm doing this, what are you doing?" Her response was to turn around and say, "Oh honey, you couldn't pay us to perform here." Motherfucker, what? I was completely taken aback and so I said, "Oh, okay, well, where do you perform?" And she turned around and said, "Oh, we don't perform, we just do this for fun." So I turned around and said, "Well, thank you very much for eliminating the need for me to so much as rebut. I'm performing here tonight, I'm getting paid money for doing it. Have a nice night." Obviously not all drag queens from big cities are nasty people. Some of my best friends in the drag community are from the city of Sydney, and as far as I can make out, the vast majority of queens from Sydney are really quite lovely, really nice people. But the shade that I have encountered, 95% will be from someone who thinks they're a better queen than me because they shop somewhere else in a bigger city. Because that fucking makes sense, doesn't it? Anyway, that's it from me this week, so I hope this video has given you some kind of insight into what it's like to deal with shade, specifically to deal with shade down under. My name is Victoria Vogue. Stay tuned for the rest of the queens this week, and as always, I will cunt. Mwah.